Well, good morning and welcome to Portal of Ascension, to Ascension. And this is about the material plane, the non-material plane, and reaching beyond into the galactic and what it means to be connected to the divine intelligence. Hey, I'm your host, Robert Perel. I'm one of your hosts. How are you doing? What a wonderful conference here produced by Neil Gar, and what a wonderful place that we are here in Southern California. To explore the mystics, and beyond into quantum. Our next guest is Meg Benedicte. Meg Benedicte and her passion and gift for seeing beyond the world into the subtle energies that surround us all. Since a young age, she's been blessed with a natural psychic ability, and she began to understand the keys of life struggle, pain, all the things that we face in the material world. She was relentless in her pursuit of finding healing modalities that we all need. We all need to be connected to that which is a part of our experience here, because our soul's pattern is in a pattern and a progression of reaching up to a higher octave, a higher understanding of what this experience in the human experience means to us. The first half hour is going to be what Ascension means to us, and looking at the quantum access, and then steps to ascension activity. I think you're going to find this startling and intelligent. This is Miss Meg Benedicte.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's really a great pleasure to be here with you and connect with you. And as Bob said, I'm going to do a brief overview of what is the Ascension, because this is kind of a complex issue, and since this is an Ascension conference, we think it's time to kind of dive into the physics and the metaphysics of what is Ascension. So we'll do an overview, and then we'll go ahead and switch gears, and I'll do a demonstration of an Ascension activation so you can experience it yourself. It's a combination of using sacred geometry and vortex energy and light. We're working with light here. So let's first talk about, how did this ascension process even come to our planet? How did it even show up? So since 2012, our solar system is aligned with a galactic photon bubble that's emanating out of our Milky Way galaxy center. And this is a game changer. This has brought in powerful infusions of gamma photon light into our atmosphere. And since it's coming into our geomagnetic field, it's coming into our own energy fields. Nobody is exempt from this. Everybody is receiving powerful photon light into their field. What's so amazing about photons is that they are carriers of consciousness. They literally are communicating intelligence from one place to another. So they're bringing this new higher consciousness or intelligence to our planet and to our own energy fields. It's not only coming into our brainwaves, but it's getting into our DNA. And so it is actually mutating and affecting and evolving, let's say, very quickly, our human DNA. Also, we're having more and more solar flares and solar winds. If you've been, kind of keeping an eye on NASA and space weather, they are picking up speed. And so especially when we have solar winds, these are actually altering the electromagnetic field of our planet. They're creating what's called cracks or openings, and then that allows more of this photon light to enter in. I find when we have these events, I can really feel it. So let's go see what's happening to us when this energy is actually interacting with us. I actually had the start of my ascension with a spontaneous Kundalini activation in January '94 in the Northridge earthquake. I don't know if anyone was in that earthquake, but it was a doozy, and it really blew through my system like lightning bolts and blew open my biocircuits, blew open my chakra channel, blew open my brain center, and it allowed my angelic soul to come in and be present. And so for 24 years, I've been very deeply involved in this ascension process. So what is this photon light doing to us? A couple of things. It's accelerating your energy frequency. And so you may feel this in lots of different ways. I know for myself, I felt a lot of like light surges, especially in the heart, especially running up and down the chakra panel. It gets into your nervous system, and it is mutating the DNA. So you could have strong purging of toxic energy, trauma, low vibrational energies, and it's literally, in a sense, transforming us from the inside out. The light infusion is converting our carbon-based cellular structure to more of a crystalline-based cellular structure. So think of it as if we're being very quickly evolved to live on light, like photosynthesis. So we're kind of weaning ourselves off feeding on low vibrational energy, food, emotions, drama, all of this stuff starts to lose less and less interest because you're starting to get into a diet of light. And this light, of course, is carrying really high consciousness, really powerful divine intelligence. So then this starts to open up your brain center to be able to access what we would call like the ancient knowledge of our universe. You begin to actually open up your third eye, your psychic eye, and you can start to see into the unseen world. It begins to dissolve the barriers of time between the physical world and the unseen world. And so everything starts to open up to you where you can access the quantum field. And by doing this, it's, since everybody is receiving this powerful light infusion, this consciousness coming in, we have a choice. We can either embrace it and work with it or not. And so you're starting to see the two worlds really getting very clear in our reality, right? You're seeing those who are embracing this high light consciousness and they're starting to live from it. And then you're seeing those who are actually denying it or blocking it or refusing it. And they're going more and more into pain and depression. And so this is, again, a choice for all of us. But the more that you open to it and embrace it, it's quite a ride. And it will really open you up to aspects of yourself you could never connect to before. So some of the symptoms that you may encounter as you begin to open to working with this gamma photon light, it's a crystalline light. It's a plasma light now. It's been evolving since 2012. It's now actually diamond plasma light. You may have heart palpitations. I had those for a good year or so. People are going in and getting tests thinking they're having heart attacks. But what's happening is your heart center is trying to open. It's trying to evolve. It's trying to actually beat at a higher frequency. You may get headaches because the whole brain waves are trying to up their game too and go into a higher frequency in your brain waves. I found when I would be purging and releasing toxins, I would have like flu symptoms, but I had no flu. It wasn't a virus or a bacteria. It was actually heat. The cells are chelating out the toxins, the trauma. So think of it like you're just really going through a transformation that we're not used to, and it's a bit, it's a little bit alarming at times going, what's happening, but if you know that it's for your highest good and you're kind of dealing with it more from the bigger picture, you can move through it very quickly, and then you keep up leveling. Every layer of density or trauma or toxins you clear, you go up again, another layer of frequency. So that's why they call it ascending, right? We're ascending in frequency. We're ascending into accessing higher dimensions. We're ascending into more of our psychic brain and living multidimensionally. What I found to help through the kind of the clearing, releasing, purging process is to, one, not get angry with the body, okay? The body's not trying to hurt you. The body's trying to keep up with this, right? So really work with your body as one whole, complete, holistic unit. And I also found by increasing silica, if you take in any kind of silica, you want to support your electrolytes because you're moving electrical current through your biocircuitry. And the body's so dense, it's not used to this. So Those are two tips that I found really helped me. The other thing too is really ground. Try to ground every day. If you can get your feet chakras, like they work like magnets, and you can get them to ground onto the ley lines of our light grid that's here and alive and really supporting this process, then you can run the light up and down through your circuitry without blowing your circuits, okay? So grounding is a really very important thing as well. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, it's opening everything up. So it's opening up your psychic mind. You know, we live in a society that's pretty dominantly left brain. And so this is very difference between the left and right brain. The left brain is only able to perceive the 3 dimensions of the physical world, of time, of separation. This is where most people are living. And we're not using much of our right brain at all. Well, when this light comes in, you're opening up the neural pathways in your right brain. Your right brain is your psychic brain. It's your intuitive brain. It's your multidimensional brain. It's what we use to visualize and imagine and set intentions. And the right brain is what accesses the quantum field. Artists use their right brain, right? They're like channels. They're able to literally see pictures in their mind and bring it through into the world, either as music or as beauty, art. So we want to use that right brain more because we want to start to live as a multidimensional being and create our reality. So right brain, it's very important. Also, we live in a holographic universe, and so the right brain operates pretty much like your television station. It takes in frequencies and creates an image. So that's what our right brain's doing as well. So the more that you go into these higher and higher frequencies, you're able to access more of the infinite possibilities of the quantum field and start to materialize that in your outer reality. What you bring in is what you project out. I found by following this concept, I just would watch what would show up out in my outer reality. If it was conflict, if it was pain, if it was a lack, you know, I'm like, okay, I got frequencies running, programming running, that's creating that holographic reality. And so that's when I would go in and start clearing those programs, those patterns, that code, that consciousness. And they do clear. And as you release them, and it's kind of like you're wiping the slate clean. All right, let's get this stuff out where it's kind of looping in the brain, in that left brain. Let's get it out and replace it with benevolent, holistic, life-affirming frequencies and images and visions, and you begin to then project that out into the world. This is where you really start to become like the co-creator of your reality when you begin to move into this level. Okay, and then we're talking about opening up the psychic brain, the multidimensional brain. We're also opening up our hearts. And for the most part, human civilization's been living in the lower 3 chakras, root, sacral, solar plexus. Not a lot of heart opening yet, okay? And so that's what this is helping as well. It's getting all this beautiful light, this is divine consciousness coming in, bathing that heart, opening that heart. There's a lot of wounding in the heart, especially probably from past lives as well. And so as we begin to work with this process, really embracing the light infusion, pulling it into the heart, breathing it into the heart, whatever you can do, you begin to also access more of the benevolent quantum options from the heart center. One of the problems we have is our heart isn't calm. Our heart is polarized. You know, we're living in this really polarized geomagnetic field, and so this is kind of this push-pull going on in our emotions, and the heart is experiencing all of this. So when we can get our heart into coherence, everything changes. Because now you're holding a calm, neutral, still point in the heart that opens a portal to the quantum field of all possibilities. This takes some work. I think this is one of the most difficult, challenging things of the Ascension, is learning how to master our emotional body and being able to really maintain a neutral, calm 0 point in the heart center no matter what's happening around you. Takes practice, takes meditation, takes dedication. But when we can achieve 0-point neutrality in the heart, it creates what's called a vacuum state. And as you know on basic physics, a vacuum is always trying to fill itself. So when we open this heart, we heal the heart, we fill it with light, we fill it with soul presence, with love, we actually start to pull in more opportunities from the quantum field than a closed heart could never, ever touch it or access it. So I'm going to show you how to do that in the demonstration, how to create 0-point in the heart center. One of the reasons that we want to build this heart magnetism is because it draws to us what matches our soul essence, our soul purpose, our soul mission, our soul's joy. When we're disconnected from that, we basically just attract polarity, right? So when you are living in the 3D earth plane of a geomagnetic field with north and south poles, these poles opposites are attracted to each other. So it creates this horrible dynamic where for every positive step forward, you get an equal negative step pushing back. This is where the law of attraction doesn't work. It cannot work in a polarized field. So the more that we can remove polarity from our energy field, maintain 0-point calm, neutral vacuum state, then the law of attraction actually starts to work. We can begin to pull in what matches us, not the opposite. We call that counterforce. We don't want to be pulling in any more counterforce. It makes life miserable. So we want to be able to magnetize in what matches the soul essence, soul presence in the heart center. Now, we're talking about ascension, and as we go through this process, we're healing, we're clearing, we're purging, we keep leveling up higher and higher frequency, we actually then begin to transform our field from a polarized field, living in time. We start to get outside of time, we start to live in the now, the eternal now, and it opens us to all quantum possibilities, and we start to activate what's called the light body. Now, hold on a second, I think I may have skipped a piece. I wanted to just go back to this image. This image is what starts to happen when the heart begins to pull energy in. It begins to create what's called a torus. Now, that's the image here. This torus is a self-sustaining mechanism for constant life force, Kundalini life force. It's pulling in your reality. It's pulling in love. It's pulling in heart-centered people that match you. This is the dynamic of magnetism once we get out of polarity. Now, what drives this torus? It's called the Merkaba. The Merkaba is the geometry of the torus. So if you look at it, it is made up of a double star tetrahedron. You have this upward tetrahedron, and then you have the downward tetrahedron. And when they rotate, they start to create that vacuum state right in the core center, and the geometry is zoom, zoom. It's pulling all this energy in. It's pulling in all this support, this life force, new realities, holographic realities. So we're advancing very quickly. We're evolving to a point where we're starting to activate our light body Merkaba torus. I'm hoping that makes sense. This is the geometry of it is what propels it. And the human heart center is the center of it that keeps it flowing. When we get polarized again and we have some kind of emotional reaction and we kind of wig out, all of this stops. So this is why we want to continue to maintain as best we can our neutral, calm, still point in the core so the Merkaba torus can continue to support us and sustain us. Also, too, when we're able to build this 0-point vacuum state in the center of the torus, Merkaba, this is what creates the portal, an opening, a doorway to the quantum field of all possibilities. When I look into, just using my right brain psychic eye, and I look into the universe, it literally is a holographic field of infinite outcomes and solutions and realities. And it's, some people use the term timelines. This is kind of getting used more often now, I've noticed, timelines. But it is truly like a kaleidoscope of flashing realities, and wherever we lock our focus, we begin that pulling in of that reality. When we're locked in time, we can't even get to the holographic quantum field. We're literally in a hard-coded karmic destiny. But when we do this process and we unlock from the time compression and gravity and density, and we're able to open this portal to the quantum field, then everything's open to you. And you're using your frequency, using your magnetism to pull from all these flashing holographic realities what serves you, what matches you, what really enhances your reality and supports your blueprint, supports your soul purpose. So think of it like this fabulous infinite array of everything you can imagine and not even be able to imagine. It's all there. And so to access it, keep raising your frequency, keep going up, 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 go higher and higher, drop the density, purge it out. Keep up leveling, because in a way, every up level opens doors to more of this infinite quantum field. And finally, we can pull from those timelines our soul's ascension timeline and literally ground to it and anchor to it and make it your home base and really invest your energy in it. And that is coded with your soul blueprint for this ascension. That is your pathway home to where you originate, whatever star system you're from. You want to get on that ascension timeline and make it your home base. So I'll show you how to do that as well in the demonstration. I do this every day. This is like really using that right brain power of visualizing and intending where you want to put your energy and invest your power into. It's available to us now. It wasn't years ago, but it is now. Our ascension timeline is here, and it literally is in that powerful portal space between the physical and the non-physical, matter and antimatter. It's all there, and we can get to it. So quantum timelines is really, I even see it almost like you're jumping tracks at a train station. You're getting off the old one that was in time, and it was polarized, and it was full of conflict and drama. Pop off that sucker, and you're getting onto your ascension timeline, and this is designed to support you. Now, how do we do this? Okay, so when I began moving through my own personal ascension, I kept getting guided from my higher self. You need to draw a circle of 12 points and get in it and start spinning it. And you may want to bring a chair in there because you're going to be in it all the time. And that was 24 years ago, and I've been in it this whole time. And it began to reveal, this was very intuitive. My human self had no idea what I was doing. And so I had to just kind of watch and go, oh, this is showing up. Oh, okay, this is happening. And as I started working with it, I began to realize, that circle of 12 points is Metatrons Cube. So this is the sacred geometry template of creation in our universe. And it's embedded with the 5 platonic solids. If you look at it, there's that double star tetrahedron, there's the Merkaba right embedded in it. So when you work with it, it begins to accelerate the activation of the Merkaba, the geometry of your torus. So this is how you begin to kind of quantum leap and really jumpstart your ascension, is working with this sacred geometry, working with this template. Also embedded, you've got the outer 6 circles, then there's an inner 6 circles. These are the 12 circles of Metatrons Cube. They're connected to the 12 harmonic tones of Phi. They're connected to the 12 chakras. They're connected to the 12 dimensions. You're going to see 12 everywhere. This is very, very much the template of creation in our physical world. When we work with Metatrons Cube and we activate it, so in a sense, you stand in the center of it into that 13th circle. You get your energy, so I'm going to help you embed it in your grounding. You step into it. Your power starts to turn it on, and it begins to open up and activate. It starts to create a counterclockwise vortex of light that spins. Those 12 circles rise up as 12 pillars of light, and then they begin to rotate around you. And so they're spinning and going faster and faster. And as they accelerate, it helps you unlock time compression. It helps you unlock density. It begins to remove the membranes of time, the veils start to dissolve, and it opens you to the quantum field. And so I've been doing this for 24 years, and it works. It's also, when you're in a spin momentum of a vortex regularly, that's increasing your energy frequency fast. So you may I start to sweat. I'm like, okay, we're up and in the temperature here, because it is going fast. But the beauty of it is it helps you move energy as well. It's listening to you. It's quite intelligent. And so if you say, all right, I really don't like this trauma I'm feeling in my heart, get the vortex, and it will spin it out. Oh, okay, I don't feel like I have enough soul presence, so it starts spinning soul in. So it can go out and in, depending on what you command it to do. It's really a great ascension tool to jump forward very quickly into the process. And then, of course, what's our goal? Our goal is to open our chakra channel. That's this, as you noticed, that was the center of your torus, and start bringing your soul presence into the body. Because we've been living in time density, in a way we've kind of been like a rock, right? Nothing could get in. But as we increase our frequency, we open up our chakra channel, we can actually begin to pull soul presence in. And you may be starting to hear this more and more, where people are talking about embodiment. We need to embody the soul, bringing the soul presence and the human presence together, where they really unite and merge and work as one. And what starts to happen then is your soul starts to just speak through you. You start to see through the eyes of the soul. Everything shifts. Your whole perspective shifts. The human just starts to kind of go into and absorb into the soul light. The ego starts to just dissolve more and take on the soul characteristics. There's a complete transformation of our personality inside. And then you're living authentically. That's when that heart is so happy, because the soul's filling that heart center, and you're able to radiate that presence out to the world. That's really, people can start to go, I feel you, I sense you, I get you. They're connecting to your divine self. And so what's beautiful about this is we're starting to move into increased energy frequency. It starts to transform your health. You embody soul presence, all that disease code begins to regenerate. You start building new healthy cells. It enhances your daily life, because you're no longer in fear or worry or insecurity. You're just in the now, and you're just radiating soul presence. And it starts to harmonize your relationships, and it really magnifies that heart center, right? So now you're able to instantaneously pull in what you need. I no longer have to go out and push and effort and hit the road and fight, and none of that. I just go into silence, into the space with the soul, and things start popping in very fast. So this is, again, just a quick overview of how the ascension process works, and how we can actually quantum jump it and really accelerate it. So in the time left that we have, I'd like to walk you through the steps to work with Metatrons Cube, work with the vortex energy. We're going to start bringing that right brain open more, working with the light. We've got this infusion of light coming in almost nonstop now. And I just ask that you try to follow more with your right brain, to visualize it, sense it, intend it. If you start moving back over to that left brain, thinking, analyzing, it'll stop it. So you just come back over to the right brain if you find that you begin to float over back to that analytical brain. And I'm going to connect with all of you remotely, so that I'll help you through it. But it's really more about opening and receiving. And so in I think we have another 15 minutes or so, so we're going to go ahead. 10 minutes? Okay. Can you hear me on this one? Okay. I'd like to take my shoes off just so I can connect, literally, physically, the feet chakras onto the ley lines of our light grid. And so we've been kind of thinking and talking, so let's just take a couple minutes, and we're just going to deep breathe into the core center. This is what we want to open up, this heart center, the center of your torus, the center of your Merkaba. And just going to breathe in life force, breathe in light. And imagine that you're locking those feet chakras onto the ley lines of our crystalline grid. So the light of your feet connect to the light of the grid. And from this point, we're going to connect from the heart to spirit, to our beautiful divine God self, to our source presence, to our angels and guides and ascended masters and teachers. So I call this our spirit team. So you're connecting to your own soul's spirit team. And when we ground to Gaia like this, we're also anchoring to Gaia's grid and nature. Nothing can really manifest without nature. So we're calling in the nature spirits and the devas and the elementals to be able to do the alchemy. And finally, I'm going to invite in Archangel Metatron, and he's going to embed Metatrons Cube under your feet. So imagine this is now on the grounding. You're going to step into the center of it. As we give it our light force, we give it our energy, those 12 pillars start to rise up and rotate right to left in a counterclockwise spin momentum. And we just breathe into it for a minute and let it start to accelerate and spin faster towards the speed of light. And as this is spinning up, it's beginning to unlock time compression and unlock density and gravity. And there we go, it's beginning to open and expand into the higher dimensions. And it starts to unlock and open to the quantum field of all that is. And as we get to this expanded space, let's focus inwards into our energy body. We can get into it now. And visualize your chakra channel, your chakra pillar. It goes right up the center of your body. We're going to bring that spin momentum now inwards and spiral up the chakra pillar. This is the center of your light body. So you're moving up. Imagine you're opening those chakras. There's 7 in the physical body and then 5 transpersonal chakras above the head, 12 total. So we're spiraling up the physical chakras, opening, clear, open channel all the way up past the crown. We get into the higher chakras, keep going up to get to the top, 12th chakra, top of your channel. And this is where we connect with our higher self. Our higher self is our guardian, our gatekeeper of our channel. And make a connection to your higher self. I always see a beautiful light being. I just go heart to heart with my higher self. And as you make that connection, the 12th chakra opens a portal to the field of light of the Godhead. It's a crystalline portal. Think of it like a doorway, and we're going to move with our higher self through that doorway, going into 13th dimension and higher. And as we move in, now we're beginning to access more of the quantum field. Let go of your physical particle self for a minute and just become like waves of light, liquid light, moving into the vast multiverse of light. And as you go in, I just imagine like I'm floating in a golden pool of light. Let yourself relax in and blend in. There's no separation here. We're becoming one with all that is, all in existence. There we go. Everyone's relaxing in. You become one with the infinite possibilities, infinite outcomes and solutions. And as you're in this vast, expansive, abundant universe, let's connect to our soul presence, your God self. You're going to do this through your unique energy signature, your soul vibration, your soul frequency. So lock your intention onto your soul frequency, and we're going to command to connect to our God self wherever it exists in all timelines and dimensions and universes through our unique frequency. And then we begin to get into coherence with it. It starts to link up. And as you start to connect, we're going to use the spin momentum of the vortex and start pulling. Here we're using our torus now. You're pulling soul presence in and down the chakra channel. Imagine you're looking up and there's open receiver pulling soul love, soul light, soul presence down and into the body, into that heart center. Breathe it in. Spin it in, open, receive it in, filling with more soul consciousness, soul code, soul blueprint. Oh, you're breathing in more of your soul gifts, soul knowledge, soul wisdom. And the heart starts to fill like a big solar sun in the center of your core. And now let's clear any kind of polarity. And so we're going to use the infinity figure eight. If you can get that image in your mind, an infinity of light. We'll run it right there at your heart, at your core center. We're going to run it horizontally. It's going to loop around the feminine energy on the left and over to the masculine energy on the right. And as we're weaving yin, yang, positive, negative, light, shadow, just pulling all your energy to the center, into the heart's core 0 point. There we go. Everything coming into the center. And we're going to release out, spin out any disharmony, negative polarity, drama, pain, suffering, trauma. Let it release. The vortex will spin it out. Release it out to source light to be transmuted. Good job. Releasing it out. And we're coming back into that quiet, calm stillness in the heart. The harmony now in the heart. And in this really fertile place of soul light, soul love, imagine your magnetism now is getting stronger. And you're starting to visualize what you need in your life. Visualize and call in and feel in your heart as you're already living it. Starting to pull this in with the Taurus momentum. There you go. Everything's starting to come in. Pull it into your heart center. You're holding it there to manifest. Anything that you need to support your soul joy, your soul purpose, your soul mission. Pulling it in, spinning it in, filling into that magnetic heart. You're pulling from the quantum field of all that is. The vortex is spinning it inwards. And claim it, claim it. This is my divine inheritance. This is the support I need from the abundant universe. This is the love I need to fill in the wounded heart. This is the magnetism to pull in more heart-centered relationships, connections, joyful living. It's just filling, it's pulsing. It may even feel like it's going beyond the chest. Big cosmic heart filling with all that you need, all that is, that's matching you, supporting you. And it's in this quiet, calm stillness of the 0 point that we then start to radiate back out that joy, that love, that light into the collective field, changing our world, transforming our world into a harmonious, loving, cooperative world. As we're filled, as we're supported, as we're loved, we're radiating that out all around us. And this is how we build our new earth. And this is how we move into living as divine humans. And we set that into motion now. And so it is. And that completes our activation for today. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you so much.